With me is Mr. Nand Kishore Singh, or more popularly called as NK Singh as India refers to him, famed Indian economist, one who has held multiple positions, accomplished positions in India, including being the Member of Parliament, several in the Indian government, including being a member of the Planning Commission, one who wears multiple hats. And here he is in London today because the London School of Economics is felicitating him and also recognizing him for his exemplary contributions made to the global community with an honorary fellowship. Congratulations, Mr. Singh, on this achievement.
Thank you very much, Radhika. Indeed, I am very honored, and it is really, if you ask me, with some trepidation that I accept this, considering the eminence of many of my predecessors who have received a similar conferment by the London School of Economics.
Indeed, indeed. Congratulations again. And this is very interesting timing, as I thought of. The UK is going to have a general election very soon, in a few hours. There's going to be one in the US, and of course India's government is barely a month old. Given all of these multiple metrics that are playing around in our global world, and the economy is fastly changing, how do you envision or what do you make of what Indian economy will look like with this new government in place?
Well, let me put it this way to you, that unlike the uncertainty which surrounds large Western liberal democracies about the government, there's an election here tomorrow, and of course the electorate will decide what they want, but there seems to be strong suggestions that they would opt for perhaps a change. The US election stuff is still a bit up in the air, and we do not know what is likely to happen. But in all this, India has gone through an electoral process and now ushered a coalition government in a very orderly way. This is a vindication and a celebration of India's democracy, considering the fact that over 948 million eligible voters were there in India, in itself quite a mind-boggling figure, and all voting, exercising their franchise in an orderly way. It is a moment for the celebration of Indian democracy. Second, I think considering that the data available suggests that this will be the third straight year when India would have achieved more than 7% GDP growth in absolute terms, which in nominal terms would come to about 11%. The fact remains that India has demonstrated that democracy and development are not enemies of each other, that democracy and development can go hand in hand, which should set at rest all literature and controversy that democracy and development are asymmetric. That's the second. Third final conclusion, that the commitment of the Indian leadership, of not only the Prime Minister, the Council of Ministers, that India should become and must become a developed economy by 100 years of its independence in 2047, means that this GDP growth of 7 to 8% must be continued uninterrupted over the next 2 decades for reaching the kind of GDP numbers necessary to put us in the category of a developed country.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, and thanks for bringing that up, because my next question was what should India do to retain its position? For instance, globally, it's the 5th largest economy now, pushing even the UK, where we are at the moment, down, a developed nation, down to the 6th position. So what are the 2 things India should do in the next 5 years, and I understand it's a long-term thing, to at least retain its position?
I think that, first of all, a minor correction. Yes, you said the 5th largest, but if you look at purchasing power parity, we are already the 3rd largest. Yes. So because you need to account for cost differentials, and purchasing power parity is well accepted with the economists, by that reckoning we are already the 3rd largest economy. But I think I need to address your questions. What are the 2 important things that India needs to do? The first, continue and remain on course on the trajectory of sustaining a high 8% rate of growth coupled with macroeconomic stability. Now, coupled with macroeconomic stability means keeping inflation in check, keeping fiscal deficits in check, keeping the continued alignment of monetary and fiscal policy in a manner which is growth fostering. Second, to undertake all the ongoing structural reforms which will ensure the continuation of this 8% growth trajectory over the next 20 years or so. That is crucial, because that, by the power of multiplier, will enable India to then come in the zone of becoming a developed country, which is its quest and its potential by 100 years of our independence.
Sure. And also one that the world is watching quite keenly, considering
and last but not the least, India has played a leadership role during its G20 presidency. Its ability to forge a consensus with varied geographies, with fractured geopolitics, and being able to find the New Delhi Declaration, which embeds in it a degree of consensus of people divided otherwise, is a remarkable achievement for India to continue to play the role of a bridge maker, a charioteer, if you like. There's something that I'm going to explain in my acceptance speech tonight, but this is India's new moment, and this is India's time to usher what I have titled my speech today and the India age.
Okay, interesting, and we look forward to that. India's new moment, says Mr. Singh. Before you go, one last question about institutions such as the London School of Economics and the importance you reckon at a time when Indian students are constantly aspiring to pursue higher education outside of India. How important is the role of such institutions globally, and should Indian students continue to aspire even at a time when nations such as Britain, of course America part of it, have been constantly throwing hostility and throwing surprises at students, international students, with changing visa rules?
I think that the interdependence between academic institutions, fostering exchange of students, exchange of faculty, exchange of research, ongoing research programs between institutes of higher excellence like the London School of Economics, which has had a very long relationship with India. Sure. I mean, after all, you know, Radhika, that Ambedkar, Bhimrao Ambedkar, was a distinguished alumni of this very institution. And that in that way, in some ways, that relationship has continued. And I do believe that the deepening of this relationship by fostering faculty and student exchange programs in exchanging ideas will help both the London School of Economics and in India in being able to achieve the productivity gains, in being able to harness technology in a very evolving form. Let us not forget that the next big changer in global productivity syndromes is the harnessing of emerging technologies of our four artificial intelligence, regenerative artificial intelligence, 4Omni, Gemini, or any of its version, to be able to bring about a qualitative change in levels of productivity necessary to sustain an 8% rate of growth.
Fantastic. Thank you ever so much, Mr. NK Singh, who is being honored at the London School of Economics. Thank you for your time. Congratulations again on the honor. And of course, in terms of India's global economy, he is reckoning this is India's new moment. Keep sharing your wisdom with us. We're proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Radhika.
Radhika Iyer with Amit Navik for NDTV.